Hey, what's up, Reefers? Today we are at my local fish store, Reef Escape. Reef Escape is one of the premier fish store at the DMV area. I say premier because they have a pretty solid quarantine procedures in place. So for those of you who've been following the channel, you know that I have a Hippo Tang, and I actually got the Hippo Tang from the same place, Reef Escape. And the reason I do that is because they quarantine the fish for at least 2 weeks so that I don't have to put the fish through it. And today, because the fish I'm picking up is also quite sensitive, I once again turn to the pros, Reef Escape. Looks like they're coming out with the fish, so talk to you guys later. Back in the warmth of the car, and here we go. This is, woo! Oh, good size. I like this. I like not too small, not too big. I was a little worried. I asked Jennifer, who's helping me, and also Chad online of like how big it is, and I'm trying to get a sense. And it's say like between 2.5 to 3 inches. It's hard to gauge, but this is perfect. Quick and dirty heat retention. We got these insulated IKEA bag. You know, they will come in really handy.
1 hour later.
This fish is without a doubt the most sought after fish at this moment. It's kind of like the opposite world where the Yellow Tang's price is shooting up. A Yellow Tang has always been on the roadmap for the 135 gallon tank behind me. Although we kind of switched up the order a little bit, I was hoping to add the Yellow Tang at the very end because they are known to get a little bit aggressive towards new tank mates. But as a lot of you guys may probably already know, Hawaii actually banned all export of their fish. This happened last Wednesday, and this ban is indefinite, meaning that most likely this is it. So already we can see the effect. A lot of fish that came out of Hawaii, for example, like Ross, Yellow Tang especially. The saving grace is that Biota has been really successful in terms of captive breeding Yellow Tang, and they are ramping up. However, there's still a big gap in terms of supply and demand, and we see the price of Yellow Tang, even the captive bred one, just shot right up. Due to the Hawaii ban, this guy costed a pretty penny. He was $150 at Reef Escape. Considering what other places are charging for Yellow Tang and how they are shaping up to be, I think it's actually a reasonable cost, especially since this fish has went through quarantine already. So for more sensitive fish, what I like to do is actually keeping the bag clipped to the side of the sump. This way the temperature stay equalized as I pour more water into the bag to acclimate. And of course, I'll pour some water, pour some out, pour some water, pour some out, pour some water, and then we'll release the fish. And with releasing a fish, I'm gonna use a net because there's a little bit of copper left in the water. I definitely do not want to get copper in the water.
Yeah?
We're gonna use our awesome Daiso buckets.
Wow! Oh!
There we go. I'm gonna try to be quick.
Oh, so scary.
Here's the Yellow Tang.
Ugh.
Oh, lively. And here we go. Coloration is really pale. It's like, what's going on? I like the fact that it's just kind of really chill, just swimming, not dashing around frantically. This guy is maybe like half an inch larger than I hope to get, but it's actually a good size now that I look at him, because this way he can stand up to the Hippo Tang or the clownfish. Yeah. Why am I still talking? He's gone.
Look!
Why he's
Look!
What's up?
Chasing other fish! Oh my
That's good. He's the
god!
I know he's gonna be the boss, but I didn't expect him to be a boss this quickly.
Just few seconds.
I feel like if I'm able to keep this Tang long term, as well as the other Hippo Tang, they're gonna grow large. I know the Hippo Tang at some point needs to move out because they at least need a 6-foot tank. A lot of people argue that the Yellow Tang or like Gem Tang and stuff should be okay with a 4-foot, but I'll feel better with a 6-foot tank as well. So I think at some point, maybe in 3 or 4 years at least, at a minimum, I'll probably upgrade my tank. If not, rehome the fish to a larger tank. Next tank is gonna be maybe like 220, 300 range, but we'll see. Oh yeah. Emily, what were you looking at?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
They're long and big thing.
Emily was really impressed by this little guy's units.
Look.
He's showing us how it's done. Dirty. Oh my goodness, everybody is like, what the hell is going on? Look at the clown trying to squeeze into an enemy. Oh, Blue Tang is, or Hippo Tang is pushing him out. Yellow Tang is trying to get close to Blue Hippo Tang. But Hippo Tang's like, nope, that's my spot. Yellow Tang's like, alright, fine.
4 to 6 more days later.
Alright, fellas, do you guys remember that tiny little Hippo Tang you see in the beginning of this video? Look at how large he is now. Here is the Yellow Tang. He is much bolder now. It has been 4 days, and he pretty much is buddy-buddy with most of the fish. I think he really likes the Anthias. He always kind of show together with Anthias, and the Hippo Tang will sometimes kind of come in and join them. Same thing with the clownfish. Although clownfish, especially the female, has been really sticking close to the rose bubble-tip anemone, which is fine. I really enjoy seeing the clownfish in the anemone. I just feel that it looks so natural. I noticed that we got clusters of algae here. I did not scrape them on purpose because we are finishing up the battle with the dinoflagellates. As you can see here, dinos on the way out. I think after this week it'll be done, but I'm just kind of like holding myself back from scraping the glass because that is one of the key to beating dinos. But we'll go a little bit deeper in depth in terms of these guys and how I ended up beating dinos in one of the later videos. Today's video is dedicated to this little guy, Yellow Tang. I've been wanting this fish for so long. I've been wanting a tank with a Hippo Tang and a Yellow Tang and clownfish for so long because I feel like there's such a stable in this hobby. It just seems appropriate. So the Yellow Tang, along with like Purple Tang and Southern Tang, they tend to run the tank. They're like the big boys, the big brother of the tank, if you will. Southern Tang seems to be a little bit more gentle from what I'm hearing. Yellow Tang, they tend to be jerks, and that's why a lot of people recommend adding Yellow Tang as one of the last fish. And like I mentioned before, I would like to add him as the last fish, but due to the Hawaii ban and how the price is just kind of shooting up, I decided to just, you know what, let's go ahead and grab the Yellow Tang first, and in the future I'll just make sure to add fish that does not look like the Yellow Tang. I'm really glad that I got this Yellow Tang. I'm really glad that I got it from Reef Escape as expected. No problem at all, just like the Hippo Tang that I got. I'm already seeing the activity that I really want to see out of this Yellow Tang, and that is picking up rocks. It took him about like 2 or 3 days before he started picking a rock, but as you can see right now, he started picking a rock, and that's a fantastic sign. And what's even better, the Hippo Tang is actually picking up that good habit from him. Excellent. For the longest time, the Hippo Tang thought that he's a clownfish, keep trying to go into an anemone. Clownfish keeps pushing him out. Thank goodness they do. And it's not until the redfish came into this tank that Hippo Tang actually started picking at the algae clip. Now that the redfish got rehomed because he picked at Euphyllias, the Yellow Tang seems to be kind of showing Hippo Tang how to be a tang and picking at rocks, which is fantastic because as you can see, as the dino is receding, I'm getting algae on the glass that the Yellow Tang's picking at, as well as especially on the rock, because snails can maneuver the glass pretty easily. It's a little bit tougher for the snails to get into the rock work simply because there's like usually one way up on the rock. Like for this rock, it's like there. If the snail missed that, it's kind of hard for them to get here. So that's where the fish comes in. Fish will get easier time to kind of get access to these rocks and pick them clean. So I'm hoping that that's what the Yellow Tang's gonna bring to this party right here. Oh, just look at how good they look. Algae, not so great, does not look that good, but they serve a really functional purpose that I'll get into in the future. And while I'm here, let's go ahead and feed the fish a little bit. And once again, I'm using this super fine mesh. There were concern of water kind of getting between the mesh and I guess salt creep, but as you can see, no problem at all. The only time I rinsed it is after the blackout where I was doing micro bubble scrubbing under like a tarp, so a lot of water got between the grits. But ever since then, no problem at all. Since I did some frozen food this morning already, I'm gonna do something quick and dirty. Flick prime reef. Fish loves them. This is actually a lot. Let's see. Oh, there you go. It took the first 2 days or so, the Yellow Tang seriously did not really eat much. He only picked at the algae clip. I put some like green algae in there. Now I guess he is actually learning from the other fish that flick is also food. That he's attacking the flake, which is fantastic to see. So I know at Reef Escape they mostly do frozen food there and possibly pellets, so I'm not sure if they're so used to flick food. So it's really nice to see that they weaned onto. Oh man, that's a big chunk. Great, nobody wants it. I guess the oh, there you go, look at this guy. Look at this, it's your birthday, a little ammo crab. It's like, what's going on? This is like, it's like if you're just walking down the street and a stack of money just drop on his head. This is totally random. But that's awesome. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. And we have a really interesting situation right here. These 3 hyphen gobies, for whatever reason, they decided to just all live together in the same barrel, which is cool, which is fine. I'm totally fine with it. Yeah, they've just been living under the same rock in the same tunnel. So They're having fun. And then we got one guy right here. That's the loner right there. I don't know what's going on here. Lyre-tail Anthias. Initially, I was thinking about adding 1 or 2 more females. As you can see, the male is pretty aggressive, and I think the proper ratio is like 1 male to at least 4 females, something like that. So I'm keeping an eye out. So besides some like a bottom dweller or showing fish, I think maybe I'll do a Ross, more for like prevention for like pyramid snail that may bother the clam, or prevention for flatworms. So I think like a Ross may fit like this setup right here. I'm not that well versed in Ross, so if you guys have any recommendation in terms of a Ross that could also help keep like flatworms, pyramid snails, that kind of pest in place, please leave it in the comment below. I would love to explore options, especially if they don't get large. One of the decisions that I struggle with this round is whether to go with a wild-caught yellow tang that I have here or the captive bred ones that Biotis has been pushing out. I was leaning a little bit more towards a captive bred because number 1, it is a good thing to support that part of the industry. And number 2, captive bred fish tend to come in a little bit healthier and they are also acclimated to the aquarium life. I mean, that's all they know. And number 3, all the captive bred yellow tang are really, really small, which I like. I like to grow a fish up from a small size to something large. However, in this particular case with the yellow tang is a little bit unique because the price is simply going ridiculous at a really, really fast rate. Just last week when I was contacting different fish stores to see whether they have yellow tang or not, I was looking online at live aquarium. Early on the week, the captive bred yellow tang from Biotis, I think it's about $100, and then later on the week it shot up to $200, and right now they're looking at like $400. It just went bonkers. It's not just live aquarium, it's just a lot of LFS. For example, we went to Rick's I think 2.5 weeks ago, and they have 4 yellow tangs, and they were actually not for sale because they know that Hawaiian ban is coming and they want to see which way things goes before they decide on a price to sell them. So with the crazy pricing in mind and knowing that I do want a yellow tang in this tank at some point, I figure, you know what, $150 for a fully quarantined fish from a source that I really, really trust. Let's just pull the trigger. Let's go for it. YOLO. Speaking of YOLO, I actually bought AMC at about $4 a while back, and also Blackberry recently at about 23, and yes, I am holding. You may think that $150 is kind of ridiculous for a fish. I used to think so too. I think the most expensive fish that I got before the yellow tang, probably the pair of clowns. I paid $350 when the Mocha Vinci first came out, and they're gorgeous fish, and they've been with me for like 6 or 7 years at this point. So my hope for the yellow tang, as well as the rest of the fish, is that they're gonna be with me for a long, long time to come. Welcome to the family, yellow tang, you beautiful jerk. By the way, you notice that my sand bed is pretty clear of dinoflagellates. Look at this. I think we did it, guys. I think we finally beat dinoflagellates, and we'll talk about what exactly worked and what did not. After talking about it for almost a year, finally we got a 3D printer that I'm in the process of assembling.